Pretty much something that will come as a shock for a lot of you. You are coming to Germany for the first time. You are happy. You just arrived, and especially if you are coming at this time of the year, you might be thinking now, okay, the weather is getting a little bit, sunny. It's no longer cold winter. We are just now arriving, what we call Frühlings here in Germany. And then from nowhere, you are noticing that you are having one running nose or the other, itchy eyes and stuffs like that. Guys, I want to tell you, because if you are not told, I wasn't told for a very, very long time. See, there is something that we call here, pollen allergies. And this is the right time of the year that it's actually starting. For the past 2 or 3 weeks, I have been battling this pollen allergy. Long time ago, nobody told me, and I just noticed that every time of the year, from nowhere, I keep having one kind of running nose or the other, itchy nose, itchy eyes. And I'm thinking to myself, you see, I went all through winter without having any problems, no, running nose or flu, whatever you want to call it, all right? And as soon as the weather is getting better, I realized that I keep having one running nose or the other, one episode. The last one lasted about 3 or 4 days, and it took about 3 days break, and then it came again. Every morning if I wake up, stuffy nose and stuff like that, itchy eyes. Pollen allergy might possibly be, what you are suffering, because, if you are not told, you begin to think, okay, I have catarrh, I have flu, you drink tea here and there. See, it doesn't really go away by you drinking tea. If you take a look at the cars right now, you're going to see this fine dust, yellow dust on all of them. And sometimes these dust, they find a way to our nostrils. And when you breathe them in, some people are able to process them, while others have to actually react to this, fine dust in the air. And most times, they tend to go away as soon as the rain would fall. Because right now, the whole place, I'm going to try to take the camera and show you around. Just you take a look at the cars that are parked here. They are all covered with this fine dust like stuff. These are actually the pollens coming from the trees. I don't know where they come from, but they are all right now in the air. So if you are wondering, why am I having this kind of running nose, itchy eyes, you are exactly under the influence of pollens. And sometimes it could be very, very irritating. People are sick at this time, not necessarily sick with fever or or headache, but you just have this general feeling of not feeling well, because your nose is running, you're having to sneeze all the time, your eyes are itching you. Of course, there are so many things that you can actually do to actually reduce the effect of this thing on your body. This is not a medical channel or me trying to propose you what you can take, but I'm just telling you, if you are noticing that you are having 1 or 2 episodes of itchy nose, itchy eyes, running nose, you possibly are being affected right now by the pollens all over. A lot of people that live here for so long already are used to this. Every year it's what it is. Sometimes it's worse, sometimes a little bit milder. Last year wasn't so bad as it is right now. This year, like I said, it's gonna go away, all right? But if you are just arriving, maybe you're coming from Nigeria, from Africa, wherever you're coming from, and you realize that you were well when you left home, and right now you are just coming, ideally it's not cold, so nobody's going to tell you that, okay, now it's so cold because of that you have a flu. And then but you notice that your nose is kind of running, your nose is kind of blocked and stuff like that. You are having this yellow like air or yellow like covering on most of the cars or any surface that is left outside. Understand that there is a thing called pollen allergy here, and it is huge, because every year people have to actually suffer this. People have to go through this. It's not in any way dangerous, it's not going to kill you or stuff like that, but it just makes things a little bit inconveniencing. And whenever it rains, and yes, we are still expecting the first rain in the last 2 or 3 weeks, it hasn't rained, but as soon as it rains, sometimes this thing kind of goes away, because these pollens are going to be washed off the air, and the air is kind of purified again. But then if you are going out, one thing you want to do, maybe take a pair of glasses, have your glasses all always on you, and always have your little handkerchief or something like that, or what you call tashing tool here, you know, like a little tissue paper that you can actually use to clean your nose, because it would be very, very irresponsible if you're in a train and suddenly you have the urge to sneeze, and then you sneeze and you do not have anything to kind of, you know, clean yourself. Always have that in your pocket. Some of us, you know, you are more used to the handkerchief thing, you know, have it always by your side, because you never can tell when the urge to sneeze will come. For those of you that are right now under the influence of, you know, pollen allergy, one thing you also want to do is to drink a lot of tea. I'm constantly drinking tea because it kind of, you know, the heat from this tea kind of helps my nose. Green tea, you know, there are other kind of tea that you can actually drink, but you know, take care of yourself in this time, because if you already have a pre-existing condition, this can actually, you know, just trigger things. You know, make sure you are taking care of yourself. You know, you are going out when you really have to. You know, when you do not have needs to just be outside, try to stay indoors, try to stay in a place that has, you know, a better air. But like I said, it's going to be for a few days or a few weeks. The air is going to be cleaned, and as soon as that is cleaned, you know, the frulings or the summer comes and everything is going to be super beautiful again. I hope this video helps you, kind of gives you an indication. But of course, if you still feel like you need to see a doctor, do not hesitate to go and see a trained medical personnel. There are so many places that you can actually visit a doctor and explain to them and see what exactly, you know, you can take for your allergies. Until I see you again in the next video, peace out.